Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with GBHL James.
And GBHL Jamie, and you're joining us for another Deadliest Warband thing.
Dun dun dun! Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands! Was that good?
That was good.
I actually thought that turned out quite good.
It was better than mine. Middle-earth's Deadly Warband thing.
Now we are continuing with Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands.
We're starting, aren't we?
Yes!
This is actually the first one of the actual, because that Sons of Ale vs Rivendell was just to kick it all off, but this is going to be the first sort of knockout, as it were.
And we're going to do this in the proper conditions that were agreed when we started Middle-earth's Deadliest Warband. That is a 2x2 board.
Yep, with light terrain, 220 points, one unnamed hero, no monsters, up to 6 cavalry including the mount for your hero, and yeah, that was most of them. That's it, I think.
It's going to be pretty cool, and we are pleased to announce that our first matchup is
Rivendell
versus
Durin's folk.
So let's see the list, let's see the table, and let's see what happens. So this is our Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands table. As you can see, there's some light terrain in there. We don't want terrain to affect the battles too much, as you saw in the Sons of Ale versus Rivendell Knights. It can be a big factor. This is a straight-up fight, so let's move on to the armies. The first warband entering the Middle-earth's Deadliest Warband arena is the High Elves. Woo! And leading this warband, we have a High Elf captain. He is on a horse, and he's got heavy armour and shield and a lance, and none of that crap. Leading the warband is a High Elf captain on a horse with a shield, and alongside him are his 12 warriors. We've got 8 warriors with a spear and shield, and we've got 4 with a High Elf bow and an elven blade. So onto their opponents.
And leading the Durin's folk list, we've got a dwarf king, 1 Khazad guard, a dwarf warrior with shield, 2 Vault Warden teams, and 5 of the Iron Guard.
This is the Durin's folk entry for Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands. The elves have the advantage in numbers. We've got 1 more troop than our dwarven adversaries. We've also got a higher fight value, which is one of the key strengths here. We do have some two-handed weapons in there, and we've got the bows, which could be key. And having our captain on a horse will be for winners. Another advantage for the High Elves is the spear support and shields.
So yes, the dwarves may be outnumbered, but they're used to fighting like that. They've got the higher defense and the higher strength, and that's what's going to pay off in today's fight.
This is a game to the death. We're going to roll for priority, and we walk on from a board edge.
So for our first proper instalment of the Middle-earth's Deadliest Warband tournament in the Middle-earth's Deadliest Warband arena, rolling for priority. And it's priority dwarves. So the dwarves has walked onto the board 5 inches, and we're straight into the elven turn. So the elves have moved onto the battlefield. I've tried to keep them as far back as possible to get off as many rounds of shooting, and we've moved that High Elf captain out onto that right flank. So we're going to go into shooting.
So the dwarves don't have any long range shooting, they're all about the close combat, but they do have thrown weapons, but unfortunately they're going to be out of range this turn.
So that means the first round of our shooting is all about the High Elves. And they're putting 4 shots into the Iron Guard. Needing 4s because it counts that they've turned up this turn. Move this turn. We're going to get 1 hit. So strength 3 bows versus defense 6. Need 6s. He gets a 1. This is how it looks at the end of turn 1, Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands. Straight into priority, turn 2. It's priority dwarves. This is how it looks at the end of dwarven movement, moving up between the pillars. So we're going to go onto elven movement. For the High Elves, they're going to be staying where they are, trying to use one of their advantages, which is that elf bow. So there's no dwarven shooting, so the 2 High Elves on this end are going to be fine. At that Iron Guard there. 3's to hit. 1 hit. And 6 is to wound. Oh! And the first casualty of Middle-earth's Deadliest Warband.
He can't see his friends.
Sits out into the arena because no one dies in Middle-earth's Deadliest Warband. They just go out to the side to cheer on their teammates. And next up, the 2 High Elves here are going to be shooting through the Khazad, and they're going to be going for the Iron Guard behind. So needing 3+ to hit. 1 hit. In the way for the Khazad. And he goes through the Khazad, and against this somewhat squishy Iron Guard at defense 6, we need another 6. Oh! This is how it looks at the end of turn 2. We're going to go straight into turn 3 priority. It's priority dwarves. So the dwarves have surged forward, and we're going to go onto elven movement. So the High Elves have in fact moved up just out of range of the Dwarves, with a High Elf Captain getting in range just in case we need to do any heroics as we move forward into shooting. So with the Iron Guard and their throwing weapons being just out of range, it is the turn of the High Elves to do their shooting, and they're going to be targeting the Iron Guard on his left flank. 4s to hit. Oh! We get 3 hits. 6s again to kill. Oh! This is how it looks at the end of turn 4, so we're going to go into turn 5, priority. And it's priority again to the Dwarves. So the Dwarves have wheeled round that right flank to face off, so we're going to go straight into Elven movement. And this is how it looks at the end of Elven movement. We've gone for it, we've gone in for the charge. We've managed to get some of our Elven Blade guys up at the front there. We've also got our captain into combat with the Khazad Guard, lots of spear support, as well as some models in reserve on that flank. So we're going to go straight into shooting.
Okay, so we've got my 3 Iron Guard here. They're going to throw their weapons at Elves 1, 2 and 3. I've moved, so I need 5s to hit. I've got 2 hits. So the first target is the first priority on 6s. Oh, finally it was 5s.
And he goes down.
1 elf down.
So having lost one of his brethren, we have the High Elf here who has moved, shooting at one of the Iron Guard. 4s to hit. He hits. 6s to kill. And he does nothing. So we're moving into combats, and inevitably, and rather predictably, the High Elf Captain on the horse is going to call a heroic combat. So in terms of special strikes, the Khazad Guard isn't going to do anything, but we are going to use the two-handed Elven Blade feinting from the front High Elf there, just to try and kill him off. Obviously we've got the spear support there, and the High Elf Captain is also going to feint, because of course we've got the fight 5 from the dude at the back. So the green dice are the charging captain, the red dice is the two-handed feinting, and the blue dice is the spear support. Oh!
5 highest.
5 highest.
Come on, cousin!
Oh! He does it, however, this is important, so I am going to use a point of might.
Yeah.
Final point of might to turn that into a 6, but well done, Mr. Khazad.
Go, Khazad Guard! Survive! Survive!
That was pretty cool. White dice from the captain, there's 6 of them needing 6s. We've got the 2 green dice, which is the spearman, also needing 6s, and the red dice are the two-handed, which needs 5s. Come on!
Oh! 1, 2, 3.
Oh, he's very dead.
3 and a 1 to reroll as well.
And a 1 to reroll. Let's just do it for giggles. No.
So
So
he definitely dies.
he definitely dies, so we're going to continue on with that heroic combat. So as you can see with the heroic combat, the captain actually charged in. He took away the control zone of one of the wardens.
Faux spear.
Faux spear, is that what it's called? The faux spear, and charged the captain at the same time. And then I brought the High Elf here around so that it would just be a one-on-one combat between the Dwarf King and the Knight Captain. Not a Knight Captain, is it? It's just a High Elf Captain on the horse. So therefore we can't heroic strike, and hopefully I'll roll a 6 this time. So we're going to go into the rest of the combats. So it was Jamie's priority with his dwarves, and he's going to choose to do the Dwarven King versus the High Elf on the horse first. No special strikes from Jamie. Let's see what he gets.
Oh no!
A 2 and a 1. Come on! Give me a 2 just to really wind him up. Oh, and we...
Oh no! What should I do?
And we take it.
No, I've got 2 points of might. I can draw it.
Your fight...
6.
Oh, are you? I thought you fight 5. Well, you might as well, wouldn't you?
No.
No?
No. You can win it.
Okay. So, the Rivendell Knight win? No, Rivendell Knight. High Elf Captain wins. The Dwarf King has been knocked down. Come on! Captain. High Elf Captain. I keep wanting to say Knight Captain. Okay, so we need 3 6s to kill him.
I guess none! Yes!
And he doesn't get a single wound.
Yes!
Not a single
The
wound.
gamble paid off. Oh my god. Oh.
So we'll move on to the next combat. Next up we're doing the one-on-one between this faux spear versus the High Elf here with the Elven Blade. He's not going to use a special strike, he's going to fight as normal. So let's see what we get. Oh! And we take it. Now, you're only trapped if you can... Can you not move him out of the...
don't want to move him out of the way.
So you're going to go as trapped.
I'll take a trap.
So he's going to take traps. He's chosen to be trapped. So therefore, we're going to have 2 dice needing
6s.
Needing 6s. 2 dice needing 6s.
Oh, he goes.
And we kill him. And he goes down. Next up, it's the Iron Guard versus the 2 High Elves here. So the Iron Guard is going to faint, and the High Elves with Spear and Shield can't. We're just going to fight as normal. I'm rolling first, because if I get a 6, I win. Oh! And we do. We take it. So 6 is to wound. And he lives. Next up, we've got the Vault Warden with the shield versus the High Elf with the Elven Blade, and he is going to faint and use his 2-handed. And also the supporting elf.
I'm going to shield.
And you're going to shield. So let's see what you get.
Yeah, 3. It counts as.
So he gets a 3, and it counts as 3 because.
I get -1 because I've not got the foe spear supporting me.
Okay, so we need to beat 3.
Yep.
And we get the 4 and the 2. So wow, I've just been informed that the guy with the 2-handed needs 5s followed by 4s. And the spear support needs
6s by 5s.
6s 5 by 5s. Let's see what happens. No, and that's not cocked, so we'll move on. So next up it's the 2v2, the Foe Spear and the Vault Warden team versus the High Elf at the front and his spear support. So I'm going to feint with my guy in front, and Jamie's not going to do anything, so let's see what we get. Oh. Yes. And the dwarves take this one. So we've moved back, so Jamie needs 5s to wound against the defense 5. Oh, and they take him down. So this is how it looks at the end of turn 4. So we're going to go straight into priority. Priority 4. I get 4, and it was your priority last time, so it's my priority.
Since my gamble paid off last time, I'm going to call a heroic move, since I've got points of might left with my Dwarf King. So he's calling a heroic move. And
I'm unable to counter, because that Khazad Guard used up both my points of might. So this is how it looks after Jamie's heroic move. That's everything you can see there, so it's going to go onto my movement. And this is how it looks at the end of my movement. All I did was move my High Elf with the Elven Blade and bow round the back there, and also the Spearman that was in reserve into combat here. There's no shooting, and it was my priority, so on to combats. So first up we're doing the one-on-one here between the High Elf, who's just going to feint. No special strikes from the Dwarf either. Let's see what happens. And we both get a 4, which means the Elf takes it. I win that, sorry, because I fainted. What do I go down to?
Yes, I
win!
win!
He wins that fight. So that was a brain fart by myself, to be honest.
So, 5s to wound the man. Or the elf even, sorry.
Oh, I'm so glad that didn't happen. Genuine mistake from me. So next up we'll do the 2-on-2 here, between 2 High Elves with Spear and Shield versus the Vault Warden team. So that's Jamie's roll. And we win. So we need 6s followed by 5s to wound the Vault Warden team. We do get a 6. Do we get a 5? Oh!
Yes!
So next up is the Vault Warden with the shield against the 2 High Elves with spear and the High Elf with the Elven Blade, who is going to use his Elven Blade 2-handed and feint.
I'm going to shield.
And he's shielding. He gets the 6, or 5 even.
5, you take it.
And we take it on that. And again, that wasn't really a 6 because
I've not got a foe spear behind him.
no foe spear. So the white dice need 6s followed by 5s, and the green dice need 5s followed by 5s. 5s followed by 4s. There's a 6.
Oh,
there's a 6 there.
So green needs 4s, white needs 5s.
Green needs 4s, white needs 5s. Come on! No! No! No, I've done the hard bit. I've done the hard bit. That's devastating. Oh, move along, shield man. After that unbelievable lack of killing power, we're going to the Iron Guard versus the 2 High Elves with spear and shield.
I'm going to feint.
You're going to feint, and I'm not going to do anything. So let's see what happens.
3.
You get a 3 highest.
You get it on 4.
And we get it on the 4. So we need 6s to kill him. Oh, yes!
You sure it wasn't a 3?
What? It was that one,
it
It was. You had me doubting myself there. So next up we've got the Iron Guard versus the High Elf. Any special attacks?
Your priority.
So I have to call it first.
I think so. I assume that's how it works.
What hand weapon do you have?
I have an axe and I have a sword. I just at the beginning I'm using swords, it makes more sense.
Yeah, you'll have sword. So I'm going to shield. And the reason why I was asking then, which is very important for the elven player, is that obviously if I call shield and he had axes, he might as well use a piercing strike, which is why we checked. So I'm shielding. Let's see what we get.
6. Pushes him back.
And we get the 6, which we needed to push him back. Next up, we've got the Iron Guard over here versus the High Elf with the Elven Blade, who isn't going to use two-handed, and he isn't going to feint.
Not feint in that case, man.
No, that was.
I will.
Oh, you're going to feint, yeah. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, double 6s. 6 for the win! Oh, he doesn't get it.
5s with 1s being re-rolled. Oh, yeah.
And he kills him. And he would have had the reroll. What would you got with the reroll?
1.
Nah, can't reroll rerolls. So the elf dies. Next up, the combat. We've got the High Elf Captain on the horse, who didn't charge, versus the Dwarven King and the Iron Guard over there. So I only get 2 dice. Black dice for Jamie is going to be the King, and he chose to feint with his Iron Guard, which obviously makes sense.
Oh.
You're joking. Double 1s for the High Elf Captain.
First strike is going to go on the horse from the Iron Guard. So 4s re-rolling 1s.
4s re-rolling 1s.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Second on the horse. Dead horse.
Dead horse. So throw right up. Gets a 3. So Gildor is going to be playing the role of the High Elf Captain. So the attacks of the Dwarven King needing 6s.
Oh, 1 wound.
And he gets 1 wound. So use the fate point of the High Elf Captain on who's no longer on his horse.
Oh, he passes.
And he passes, so he's still on 2 wounds. So this is how it looks at the end of turn 5. We're going to go into turn 6, priority. And it's priority to me.
So use my second point of might and call another heroic move with the Dwarf King.
So this is how it looks at the end of movement. Jamie's mostly tied up a lot of my troops there, but I did manage to get around and surround him here. So we're going to go straight into combats. That was my priority, so I'm going to choose this trap model first of all. Jamie is going to feint. What happens?
Oh!
No way.
Oh, he wins.
And he wins it. And he beats them all back.
Strike him and him. Needing 5s, re-rolling 1s.
Needing 5s, re-rolling 1s.
Oh, get him.
He kills one. He kills that High Elf over there.
Yeah!
So next up we'll do the Vault Warden team versus the 2 High Elves here. See what we get. Oh my god. Bad rolling from the Elves, a 2 and a 1. So because they're strength 4, they need 5s to wound.
Another one goes down.
Next up we're going to do the High Elf with Spear and Shield and the one with the Elven Blade versus the Vault Warden guy.
Special strikes.
Yep, I'm going to feint with the one on the right and do his two-handed.
I'm going to fight this one. I'm feeling brave.
I know, your rolling's been pretty good.
Oh, he takes it!
No way. No way. More poor elven rolls.
I'll remember to separate your colours next time as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'll strike the shield man.
So striking the shield man.
Needing 5s. Oh, I should have rolled this one.
Next up, the dwarf with shield versus the high elf with the spear and shield.
I'm going to piercing strike.
You're going to piercing strike, forcing me to fight normal. Let's go. Oh, he gets a 3. Come on! Oh!
So I go down to defense. Oh, that's
dear.
3, 4, so 5 still with me.
So what defense have you gone down to?
I've gone down to, I was defense 7, I've gone down by 3, so I'm defense 4.
Defense 4, and I'm strength 3, so I need 5s. 5s to kill him.
Oh,
yes!
Shouldn't have piercing strike.
Yes! You were feeling brave.
I was feeling brave.
Feeling very brave.
Should have shielded.
Next up, the Iron Guard versus the High Elf there with his sword. Hell, I'm not going to do any special strikes.
I'll feint.
I'm going to feint. So let's see what happens.
3.
3 and a 2. Come on. No!
One.
No! A 1.
5s.
5s to kill. Should get it. And he does. And he kills him. So a horrendous round of combat for the High Elves. And next up we've got the High Elf Captain who's been dismounted against the Dwarven King and the Iron Guard. Any special strikes?
Iron Guard's going to feint.
Iron Guard's going to feint. I'm going to shield.
Yep. Got no might, so I'll just roll them all.
Yeah.
6 for me, 6 for you.
And we get a 6 as well. So it was my priority, so I will roll the dice. Elves are inherently good. So we need a 4 to 6, he needs a 1 to 3. and it goes to the dwarves. So 6s all round, white's re-rolling 1s. Oh, and he gets the 1 re-rolled. What does he get?
Oh, another 1.
Another 1. You can't re-roll. Oh, we're going into turn 8. I think Jamie's 2 off breaking me, and I am
2 off breaking me.
2 off breaking you. So roll for priority. 3. You really want this?
Yes!
Oh! And the dwarves get it. More great dice rolling. So let's go into movement. So an important priority there. It has allowed Jamie to tie up most of the high elves. You can see where he's moved in there. Still quite worried because he's tied up the captain with something that's going to be quite tough to kill. And you can see everything else here. So we're going to go straight into the combats. First up, the high elf who's going to be shielding versus the iron guard who is fainting.
You get it.
And you get it with double 6s, which is nice.
Got this 2-on-1 here. The high elf is going to shield. So my 2v your 2.
Oh, and you get it.
Needing 5s to wound. Oh, I don't get it.
So this is the dwarf king on the 2 here. We've got the high elf with the elven blade, and then the high elf with the spear and shield. I'm going to feint and two-handed.
Yep.
On 1.
I'm striking normally.
Striking normally. So
6s win it.
6s win it.
1 hit on each of them. 5s to wound. Preference on the defense 6 middle.
Yep.
So defense 6 one goes down.
1 high elf has gone down.
1 more to go.
There's a big swing turn last turn. So you kill 1, you break.
2-on-1. My 2 on your 1.
Okay.
I'll be fainting.
You're going to feint. Yep. And I'm going to shield. Ooh, and we take it. Next up, it's going to be the high elf who's going to be shielding versus the iron guard who is fainting. And we take it with a 6. Next up is the captain versus the vault warden guy on his own.
Gonna shield.
You're going to shield. I'm fighting as normal. You've got a cock dice there, but it doesn't matter. You win. So this is how it looks at the end of turn 8. We're going to move into turn 9 priority. Come on, elves.
They get it.
Yes! So this is how it looks at the end of movement. So we're going to go straight into combats. So first up, last time we put 3 on him, as Jamie has reminded me, it didn't go too well for the elves. But the elf with the, whatchamacallit?
Elven blade.
Elven blade is going to feint and use two-handed, and then the other 2 fighting as normal. You are fainting.
Come on! 5.
Gets a 5.
Oh my god, nuke the place.
5s on the green dice, 6s on the whites. Come on.
Oh!
And nothing. He lives, which I did not want. Next up, the foe spear versus the high elf. I hope, and the vault warden team. Yeah.
Red dice got -1.
Red dice is -1, and we are going to shield.
5.
And you win again.
5s to wound.
5s to wound, should kill him.
Oh.
So it's the high elf versus the captain, and sorry, the dwarf king and the iron guard.
I'll be fainting with the iron guard.
I'm going to shield. So it doesn't matter. 6 wins it.
Black dice, re-rolling 1s.
Black dice re-rolling 1s, and you need 5s. Oh, re-rolling 1 on. No, and he lives. He did his job. So it's the captain versus the iron guard and the shield warden dude.
Vault warden. Yep.
Yep.
I'm gonna feint with the iron guard.
Feinting with the iron guard, and we're just gonna fight as normal.
Got -1 with the red dice as well. 6.
So you get a 6. I need the 6. That's a
dice.
cock dice. Come on! Yes! Yes!
That's it.
Yes! Yes!
Okay, so roll to wound.
So both strikes are going to go on the iron guard. In fact, sorry, I'll just do 1 at a time. I'll do the iron guard, needing 5s.
Cocked.
It's cocked. Not in my favour either. 1. And I'll re-roll again to kill him. And nothing. And he lives. So we move on to the next turn. So it's turn 9, priority. See what we get.
Oh.
Oh, it's priority dwarves again. This is how it looks at the end of movement. So we're going to go straight into combat. Starting off with the captain versus the vault warden team. Any special strikes?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to shield.
Oh.
And good job that I did, because we win. Next up is the iron guard versus the high elf with spear and shield.
I'm gonna feint.
I'm going to fight as normal. Let's go for it. And we take it. Oh, that's... Let's see if we can put it on it.
No.
You just throw that off. It is cocked, don't worry. It is cocked. No, don't worry about it. It's
Damn right,
cocked.
It's cocked.
It's only winding you up.
Ah, you win.
It's only winding you up. So I'm glad that we went for that. So we need a 6. And we get a 2. These two guys versus the High Elf, who is going to shield. And he gets a 6, so he wins it. And next up, it's the 2-on-1 here. And High Elf will fight as normal.
I'll faint. Yes.
And he wins.
5s. Reroll them both.
Rolling 1s, this is good.
Oh,
And thanks to fainting, he kills
finally paid off.
the High Elf. And
Broken.
next turn, we will count as broken. So next up, we've got the 2 High Elves versus the Captain.
King.
I'm going to fight as normal. So yeah, the Dwarven King.
Oh,
5
win it.
highest. And we win it. So he moves back.
6s by 4s.
6s by 4s. And we don't do anything to him. And there endeth that turn. So it's on to priority. And it's priority dwarves again. Here it looks at the end of movement. So much of my stuff tied up. Doesn't mean I don't have to take courage, but it doesn't really matter too much as elves. So we're going to go straight into the combats. So this has been a long Deadliest Warbands. I'm just going to start going for it now, to be fair.
Yeah.
So we're just going to fight as normal. We get a 4, so we win.
6s by 4s.
So 6s by 4s.
No.
And we get a 1 and a 2.
My 3 on your 1.
Your 3 on my 1. I'm going to fight normally.
Black dice is
2.
-1 and he's fainting as has been the entire game.
Oh! No way.
He wins. Oh.
That absolutely stank. And on the Iron Guard, needing 6s. Oh, I'm not calling it. Needing 6s. He gets a 1. Next up, 4 fainting attacks from the Iron Guard versus the High Elf, who's just going to attack normal. Oh, and they take it with 2 6s. And I don't know if you can see there, but he's well dead. And next up, the Dwarf King against the 2 High Elves, who are going to fight as normal.
Ugh.
And they take it. They need 6s followed by 4s.
No.
You get a 3 and a 2. Dismal. So it's on to priority turn 10 now, I believe.
I think it's 11 even, but yeah.
Might be 11, yeah. Priority elves, at last. Oh, because we've got priority and we are broken. We need to roll courage, so we're going to start off with the High Elf Captain. So now that everything's tied up, we're going to go into the combat phase. Start off with the High Elf here versus the Iron Guard, presumably fainting.
Yep.
And I'm fighting as normal.
Oh.
And we win. So we could do with another 6.
No.
We get 2. So the High Elf versus the fainting Iron Guard, supported by a foe spear.
Ugh.
The High Elf wins, in a 6. He doesn't get it. The High Elf on his own against the Captain and the Iron Guard.
King.
Sorry, the Dwarven King. And I'm just going to go for it, why not?
Iron Guard, Black's fainting. Yeah, it wins.
Yeah, you win.
King. Yeah, King's got this covered.
King kills him. Next up, we've got the 2 shielding Vault Wardens versus the High Elf Captain.
Should have
You
fought.
smash it. So that's how it looks at the end of combat. We're going to go into priority. Let's see what happens. And I think another priority to the dwarves might spell doom. Doom for the elves. This is how it looks after Jamie's movement, and I have just noticed something. The point at which this game turned was when Gildor arrived on the field. There's been nothing but bad luck to me whenever I field him. I don't care that he's worth millions, but he's not doing great. So there was a throwing weapon that was thrown by an Iron Guard that managed to kill one of our High Elves. So this looks like the end. Let's see what happens in combats. So the High Elf versus the 2 Iron Guard, going to fight as normal, and you're going to faint. I got a 4.
6.
And you get 6. Come on.
5s. Oh, 1. There we
And
go.
you get him, and he's taken. So are you going to table, as in this turn, High Elf Captain?
Special strikes for me.
Yep.
Fainting. He's going to pierce and strike.
Fainting and a piercing strike there. I'm fighting as normal. I get a 6.
Dwarf King. It's a 4. The Iron Guard.
So it's a drawn combat. It was Jamie's priority, so he has to roll the dice. What do you have to do? You have to roll the dice
roll the
because
dice.
why?
This is my priority.
That's right.
No, on a 1 to 3 it's me, and a 4, 5, 6 it's the elf. Yes.
Did you even roll that?
Roll off my hand. Again.
And again, yeah. Well, that works if you let something slide off your hand. Slidey.
Fate wants it to be me, okay?
Yeah, you should kill him now.
The piercing striking dwarf.
Whoa! Muscles.
7 from him. So he's wounded on 4s.
So he needs 4s. If you get both above 4 here, you kill him. Yes! And he's dead! He's dead.
The king, just in case. Let's finish him off properly.
Yes!
That's 3. The Iron Guard. Desecrate his body here. Oh, he's fainting.
They are stabbing him in the eye on the floor.
No. Last team, using 6s. Well, 3 kills him off.
3 kills him off. The High Elf Captain goes down.
The dwarves, the victors.
It is a victory for Durin's folk. Welcome, strategy battle gamers, to our post-battle bat-rep breakdown for Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands. Round 1.
Durin's folk versus Rivendell.
Not Rivendell. Yeah, it is Rivendell.
It is Rivendell.
It is Rivendell. I keep getting confused with Elrond's household. And I did during the game. A number of times I called that High Elf Captain a Rivendell Knight Captain. Yeah.
That's just forced a habit from using them at a tournament, though.
Yes. And you know the result, guys. A stomping victory for Durin's folk!
The Jaxes!
That's right. They took the High Elves down. So we're going to talk about why we think that is very quickly.
Yep.
Go through what happened in that battle, because I have to say I thought the High Elves had it.
Oh, so did I. That second turn of combat where you had successfully heroicked, you knocked out the Khazad Guard, you'd taken up the supports, and you had your weight of numbers on that flank. And I thought, you know, I could go down quite quickly here.
Yeah, as did I. I thought, you know, I've done this properly. I've got my numbers to bear on him. I've got all my spears in the right places. I've got the heroic combat and got through. I thought it was mine. But what was telling was the lack of high strength of the elves.
Your armour piercing was not there. That was always going to be the sort of worry for the high elves. That you were sort of relying on their higher fight value to win the fights, to just bring your dice to bear, basically.
Yeah, bringing the dice to bear, but it was tough to kill those dwarves.
I think quite a key moment in the battle is me deciding not to burn my might to try and win that fight.
Yeah, and even before that as well, the Khazad
Guard
forcing me to use a second point of might
to win the fight.
To win the fight. So that was all of my might gone really early in the game, which made a difference because
I got the 2 heroic movements when I lost priority, which obviously gives you a great advantage because you can pick your fights more easily.
And that swung the game because in that turn, I think you went through 3 or 4.
3, I think it was 3.
And went through 3.
So what we're learning in these games is once 1 or 2 start to drop, it can really sort of open the... Yeah.
It's not like a sort of big pointed game where you've got room to sort of bring it back. As soon as the dominoes start to fall.
Yeah, you know, 2 die, that frees up 2 more men to jump onto 2 more, and then you slowly start to just plough your way through, basically.
Yeah, it happens very quickly. So it didn't take long. We were saying before as well, all of those dwarves, bar the dwarf with shield, all of them have got strength 4, so it completely negated the defense 6 that was on those High Elves.
All that points spent into shields were wasted against them, which was unfortunate for you because I think that would have been another warrior. Well, actually, you were full warband anyway. But...
I had a full warband anyway. So some interesting points there. And another thing as well was because of my higher fight value, it almost worked in your favour because you could...
Because all my Iron Guard have swords, so it meant they could quite freely feint and get the reroll to...
And that made a difference on a couple.
I think on 1 or 2, I think it did actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think especially towards the end, there was one where you rolled 2 1s, re-rolled, and you got the 5 that you needed. Yeah. So, Durin's folk, they progress.
They're going up. They'll be against either Rohan or Moria in the next stage, I believe.
And it is Moria versus Rohan in our next edition of Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands, which we're going to try and bring you each week and maybe release on a Friday.
I was thinking Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
We might release on a Wednesday. Yep. So we hope you enjoyed that video.
Yep. My man of the match has to be the Vault Warden teams. They just would not die.
They're tough, and especially when you've only got strength 3. These guys could literally go over, get into contact with a couple of models, or the captain. They did that, I think it was 3 or 4 turns.
That's what I was hoping for these guys to do, is just standing next to the captain going, "You're right."
Which they did.
I'm not dying.
And they weren't dying. They just shielded, they kept my captain tied up for a couple of turns.
Kept him away from the Iron Guard, who he could, squish through. quite quickly.
Yeah, 'cause I think I was just one from breaking you.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Which could have made a little bit of a difference, especially
Well,
with
the King's Courage 6
oh,
with
right,
2 points of will.
That's not too bad, I suppose. So all in all, in the end, it wasn't very close. It was all good for Durin's folk, but a very key swing in that game.
Yeah.
Midway through.
Definitely Gildor showing up.
Gildor, yeah, Gildor showing up. It wasn't actually Gildor. We don't have a high elf captain on foot model, but he never does me any favours, Mr. Gildor. He's like my bad luck warrior. My bad luck warrior.
It's a shame he's worth so much money as well.
Yeah, if anybody wants a Gildor, I'm going to sell him. He's going. He's going. If you like that model, you buy him.
Send him an offer.
Yeah, make me an offer, guys. So no, it was interesting, and we both enjoyed it.
Yeah, very fun.
Very, very fun. Very big, quick swing.
Yeah.
And I think you had what 4 or 5 turns of priority.
Yes. Well, at the beginning, I had them all when I didn't want them, and then the times where you had them where you needed them, I had the might there to, like, the uncontested might to call the heroics, and then again it was just back to priority for me.
And back to priority for you. I think I got 1
You
in all
got
that.
one more.
I got 1 priority.
You passed your courage tests though, so.
I passed my courage test. So a hard time for the High Elves. They are eliminated from Middle Earth's Deadliest Warbands. Join us next time for another instalment. You want to say anything?
No.
Middle Earth's
Deadliest Warbands.
Happy strategy battle gaming.